Hello, good day. Welcome to the Frankfort Report. I don't even know what day it is. I don't even know where I am. Did you hear the news? Did you hear the news? We're going to get slapped. We're going to get bitch slapped. We're going to get slapped like, what's his name? Chris Rock.
Oh, wow. Wow.
By these automotive tariffs, potentially. Tariffs on automobiles.
Keep my
automobiles
name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
This is big news, but they actually put in place. I thought we had 30 days. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Okay, I thought we had 30 days tariff free, but it turns out that there's going to be aluminum and steel tariffs on everybody and their mother. And I'm no expert, but from what I gather, we send a lot of steel and a lot of aluminum into the United States. And I mean, that's good on one hand, because you'd think that they would think that they have to rely on us for the steel and the aluminum. But it turns out that they're taking the position that they don't need to. Us, on the other hand, I imagine if we're sending 70% of the aluminum that the United States needs, it must be taking up a giant chunk of the aluminum we produce, right? So if somehow they are able, and I don't see how this happens at all, that they just slap tariffs on us and then that just shuts the whole thing down, and all of a sudden now they're able to produce all of that aluminum. Like, is anybody buying this? Maybe Trudeau's buying this. Anybody other than Trudeau buying this?
I ain't buying it. You pulling my dick.
What's going on? What is this going to do? This is, from what I gather, the 25% on steel and aluminum. This is effective now. Do we have any time to react to this? What are we going to do? What is it going to do? Is it going to, I mean, if the intent is for them to start, gearing up to make more of it and stop buying as much of it from us, while that transition is happening, we need to be sending it somewhere else, right? So who else needs all that aluminum? Tariffs take effect March 4th. Oh, I see how it is. Okay, so that's our 30 days. So that's how he wants to play, hey?
You know, if you look at Canada, Canada has a very big car industry. They stole it from us. They stole it because our people were asleep at the wheel. Canada
stole the auto industry from the United States. There's a claim. Maybe not untrue, but what a claim.
So what happens is Canada's going to have our cars. We're going to take the car industry. If we don't make a deal with Canada, we're going to put a big tariff on cars. Could be a 50 or 100%.
Holy cow. See, if we don't make a deal, we're going to take the car industry back.
Because we don't want their cars. We want to make the cars in Detroit.
They want to make the cars in Detroit. And wouldn't that make sense? I mean, it's unfortunate that he only has 4 years, because I think a lot of the stuff that this guy's doing, which is, I think, good for their country, will take longer than 4 years to really materialize.
When I talked about Canada, they gave us tremendous security. It started out for security, and then it started getting economic, and it's really both.
You know, the Prime Minister said this weekend to a group of Canadian businessmen, he was at a private meeting, he said that your wish for Canada to be the 51st state is a, quote, real thing. Is it a real thing?
Yeah, it is. I think Canada would be much better off being a 51st state, because we lose $200 billion a year with Canada, and I'm not going to let that happen.
So this has been proven to be inaccurate over and over and over again, but he keeps using it because it sounds way better than $63 billion.
It's too much. Why would we do that? I asked Trudeau that question. I said, why would anybody want to lose $200 billion? Why would I, as president, say, I'm going to give you $200 billion a year? You're Canada. You're a different country. And I love Canada. I have so many friends in Canada, you can't count them. Wayne Gretzky, I love.
You can count them. One.
Wayne Gretzky, I love so many people. I love their tradition. I love their ice hockey. But why are we paying $200 billion a year, essentially in subsidy to Canada? Now, if they're a 51st state, I don't mind doing it.
And here we are again, right? So the way it's being framed is that we cost them too much money, and there's really no need for it, right? What are we getting in return? And this is not factoring in the money that they pay for, I guess, what they consider our defense. I don't know what we're defending against and what that money goes to. But we don't pay our fair share, which I suppose is fair because it's math, right? I think everybody agreed to a certain amount of money and we don't live up to our end of the bargain, right? So Trump's throwing that shit around. Let's see this one here. Mr. Sunshine Baby, who has a far superior show to this one for now. Trump is slapping 100% tariffs on Canadian cars. Now, I don't think that it's in fact the case. He is not slapping. He may slap. Man, he's going to keep hammering us with tariffs, and the final nail in the coffin will eventually be our defense budget. And that's what I'm saying is our defense budget, because he thinks he's spending all kinds of money and we're not living up to our end of the bargain. Not only do they have a $200 billion, which is apparently not true,
Called fake news.
Trade deficit with us on actual goods, and I suppose services, maybe not services. I don't know how they calculate this stuff. It's all baloney anyways. But the way it's being framed is that there's all this money going out the door from America and they're not getting enough in return for it. Canada is not ponying up enough of anything for them to be satisfied with the current arrangement. We think that we're in the position of power in these negotiations, right? Obviously, Trump somehow, for some reason, thinks that he's in the seat of power. I mean, maybe having that army behind him is a pretty good hand, right? You're dealt a pretty good hand with that army and the reserve currency and the size of the economy. I mean, they are fairly useful. Okay, so we've got Kevin O'Leary here now saying that this is all just negotiation tactics. That smile's so creepy, isn't it? Who told him to sit there and smile like this? Like, I can't even copy it. Can I copy it? Do I look like it? Can I just sit here the whole time? You think? Does it not feel?
The fuck?
It's fucking creepy, no? Look at him.
President, Kevin, he's about to sign 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum and reciprocal tariffs. What do you make of all this?
Well, those are two different baskets. Obviously, the one that people are talking about quite a bit tonight is India. They've got certain products, services, and different sectors up to 23%. Now we're going to have reciprocal tariffs in the U.S. against them. Modi will immediately fly to Washington. The negotiations will begin. It's the same everywhere. The Canadian situation is unique. Almost the entire $200 million deficit that the president's talking about comes from one single source. That's energy coming out of Irving refineries on the East Coast down to Boston. And all of that oil, 4.3 million barrels a day coming out of Alberta into the West. And so that's the most inexpensive oil the U.S. imports. That's why he only put a 10% tariff on it. But it's the beginning of a giant negotiation. Aluminum, 70% of aluminum comes in the U.S. is made in Canada for one singular reason. The Canadians have all the power.
We have all the power to manufacture the aluminum because it's super energy intensive and they need more. Right? Their grid can't handle making aluminum.
We don't have any grid left for electricity. So all of this, to me, if you separate the signal from the noise, forget the noise. The signal is let's get an economic union together. The Canadians aren't going to sell the country. That's not really on the table. What is on the table that now 43% of Canadians want to explore more of, forget all these tariffs. Let's join the two economies, become a behemoth, common currency perhaps, and then take on China.
Kevin O'Leary is telling us that we are in the middle of a big negotiation, okay? That it's all just a negotiation to get us towards being a behemoth trading block or partner. And I suppose that could be true. I don't know how Mr. Wonderful knows. You think Trump is like, hey, Mr. Wonderful, come here. I got a secret for you. I'm going to tell you everything I'm thinking so you can tell them on these news channels and so you can look like a genius because everybody loves you and they respect your opinion because you were on the Dragon's Den or Shark Tank or something. No, I don't think that happened. I don't think that's happening. But I think Trump is making waves. He's making it very, very hard on. He's making it very, very hard on everybody right now because nobody knows what the is going on, and he's causing chaos and uncertainty. And we know what the markets are like when there's chaos and uncertainty. It is not good. It is not fun, and people don't do things that they would normally do. They act weird, and they do stupid shit.